All right, so in this video, we are going to transform our work experience section and make it look like this. So currently, well, this is the full version, all right? But currently our page, it looks like this, all right? So we need to style it somehow like this, all right? And then we'll style the contact me section as well, and as well as the footer. So let's begin. So I'm on my code editor, all right? And it's time to create classes, all right? So we'll begin with the section, all right? And then a class here, as you know, this is the work experience section. So we add a class here of work, okay? And then add this div, um, add a class to this div as content wrap, all right? Just like we have done here, okay? So in the about me section, so that our content is in a width of 90%. Now I'm going to reuse my column narrow and column wide classes, um, just like what I did here, all right? So I'm going to use them to get something like this, okay? So going back to the code editor, all right, I'm going to give this div, experience1, a class of call narrow, all right, and the other div, a class of call wide. All right, so as you can see that so far so good, the classes name have to match, all right, so that we don't have to rewrite the CSS of it, okay. So I'm just going to copy this class call narrow and paste it here and paste it one more time here. That's it. Okay, and paste the call wide class here and as well as here. Okay, so basically I haven't added any CSS yet. I've just added the classes which have already been predefined. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm kind of seeing the repetition. Oops, yeah, got it right. Experience 3 here. All right, so far so good. Let's just see and have a look how our page looks like. All right, so it looks pretty disturbed right now, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. We're gonna settle it once we add some extra CSS to our column narrow and column wide. Okay, but first we'll style the work class. Okay, so going back to the code editor, going to the work class, selecting work, copy this, go to the CSS, and underneath just paste this class, all right, and add a padding of 5em 0 left and right, then a background of linear gradient, all right, linear gradient, then RGB A, and then RGB a second value, all right? And I'm gonna tell what I'm gonna use here. Add the background, code, PNG. Let's see if that's reading it. All right, it's reading it. Save it, all right? And I'm just gonna add white here. Sorry, I'm just gonna add black here, all right? With an intensity of alpha 0.7 opacity, all right? And also just save it and run it to see first what happens. Nothing is happening because we haven't added the RGB or the other color, all right? So we need something like this, all right? We need this color, so I'm just gonna inspect this work background, all right? I'm just gonna copy this RGB value, all right? There we go. Just gonna copy this, okay, and paste it in my code. Now you can see that this is RGB value, all right? It's not RGBA value. So we'll not be, considering the fact that we have opacity here, all right? So I'm just gonna save it and then run it to see the result. Perfect, there we go. So we have a background, all right? But there is a slight problem that in our full product, all right, full portfolio, we have this slightly going from left to right. It's not going from top to bottom. So we're going to adjust that by adding degrees. Okay, so I'm going to say 19 degree, comma, RGB. And now there we go. It works absolutely fine. Okay, so after that, I'm going to add some other properties. So I'm going to say background repeat is set to no repeat. Okay, background size should be cover. All right, and background position, of course, has to be uh, center. All right, because always there are two values for background position. The color of the text inside this div is going to be white. And of course, in order to, let's just say, in order to minimize this problem, this overflowing problem that we have a lot of content, oozing out of the div, okay, so we're going to say overflow should be hidden, all right, or auto, depends on your choice, auto or hidden. Perfect. So there we go. We have this div now, and it's almost looking like our final product. Okay. Now let's just style the HR element. Okay, the line horizontal ruler. Okay, so we're just using a horizontal ruler like with the same width and height. All right, so it's going to be consistent throughout the design. So we're just going to give it one style. All right, so I'm going to go to the code editor. All right, and in the beginning, after the body, I'm just going to give it a style of, let's say, I'm going to give it a border of 5 pixels, solid and white. All right, and then a width of 10% is fine. Let's just see. Okay, so we have it, but it's slightly, it's slightly a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna go and change it to 2 pixels and see. That's better. All right, that's better. Okay, so 2 pixels. All right, let's just give it a width of 100 pixels instead of 10%. All right, so there we go. That's better. Okay, so one more thing is that this disturbance which is happening here, all right, so we need, like, Google Analytics experience to come in forward of this paragraph. All right, and for some reason we're not able to do that. So how to eliminate that problem is, so since we have using floats, all right, and we're using float in our column narrow and column wide as well. So we need to clear floats as well. All right, it becomes necessary at one point to clear them. All right, so that they don't overlap each other. So it doesn't matter whether you have set the overflow to hidden or auto, but you need to set the you need to clear the float. So for that, you use this property called clear and use the value both. Okay, so after that, you're going to see that now that problem is sorted out. All right, so let's just align the text to left as well. Text alignment should be set to left. All right, and there is a slight issue, that is the margin. All right, it should be 90%. All right, so I'm just going to go back to my code, and there we go. So this div must end here rather than after the heading. It should end just before the section. All right, so that's better. Okay, now if I check it, there we go. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect, looking good. All right, so that's how you add floats and clear them as well, so that your content doesn't overlap. So we're done with our my work experience section. All right, and it's looking like this, though there's a lot of text. So we're just going to copy this paragraph and just paste it in our code as well, so that looks good. There we go. Paste it. All right, and paste it. Oops, there. That's not the place. There we go. Paste it, and then simply paste it. There we go. So now our text looks fine. Now there's one slight issue, that there's a lot of space between the attributes, all right, the years and the post. So I'm just going to remove that, all right. And I'm just gonna, give it a margin of color narrow paragraph, a margin of 5 pixels. All right, so there we go. H2 and H3 and paragraph should have a margin of top bottom 5 pixels and left right. I'm just not gonna touch it. There we go. So if I just click now, there we go. So now you can see that it's absolutely fine. Okay, brilliant. All right, so let's just style the contact me section now. All right, so I'm just gonna go back to my code editor, and over here I have this contact me section already. I just need to add a class, so I'll add a class of contact me. Okay, oops, contact me. All right, and after that I'm going to add a content wrap class. There we go. All right, and I just really don't want this. Yeah, it's actually ending just before the section, not like the work section as we did before. All right, so after that, over here, I'm going to give the same class as I did to my button in the header section. So it's going to give this class so that I can get some button like this. Okay, so just going to copy this class. All right, that's the beauty of like CSS, that you just copy the class and it's going to have the same properties. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to style the contact me class. All right, paste it here in my CSS. All right, and then give a padding of similar of work. All right, there we go. And overflow auto. There we go. So color, I'm just leaving it to black since I really don't want it to turn white because I really don't want to add any background. I want to keep the background plain. So let's see what happens. There we go. So we have the contact me section ready. It wasn't a very difficult thing to do. We just added the padding from our previous properties and contact me section is ready. It looks like this somehow. There we go. Okay. So in this case, just the button is a bit bigger, but that's okay. I mean, it's up to you. You want to make it bigger or not. So as long as it looks like a button, okay? All right, so it's time to style the footer. And I'm going to go back to my template and add a class to my footer element as footer. All right, and this div will be used to add the content wrap since I want the content to be of width 90%. All right, there we go. Save it and then select the footer, copy this, go to the CSS and simply add it and give it a background of black. All right, and padding should be 5 0, just like the other sections. Color of the text should be white. All right, and overflow should be auto. Save it and then run it. There we go. So now we have our footer ready. Okay, so that's it. That's how you make a perfect portfolio website. So hope you have gained the concept of creating a project CV template, which is a starter template, and it's something that you attempt to make soon after you learn the essentials of HTML5 and CSS3. Now, because HTML5 is responsive in nature, you can notice that I haven't added any media queries for making myself my site responsive. All right. So if you just try to minimize the site, all right, or take it to the size of a mobile screen, then you can notice that nothing is missing out. It's absolutely fine. It actually, this is how the site will look like on the mobile. All right. Now you can still make some changes to it, but we'll discuss that later, how you can do that. But overall, the site looks good. Even if you open it on your mobile, the site will look good and readable. All right. So this is the desktop version, and I hope that you have gained the concept of creating awesome design as your starter template. Okay, so I'm gonna see you in the next videos. Till then, keep learning and of course, keep creating great stuff.